everyone. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, thanks, neighbor Kokoro. I'm gonna make myself a bit bigger because this is gonna be an extremely talking-heavy stream. This is definitely gonna be one of those shows where I don't get to make fun of Andre for another week or two. I am not 100% sure we're gonna play Netrunner tonight, because I actually want to talk about Cascadia. I got back from Cascadia. My flight back was on Monday. I flew out on a Friday. And quite frankly, it was one of the most fun tournaments I think I've ever been to. It also is the best I've ever done in an in-person event. I'm pretty sure I can just say that unqualifiedly. This was a 66 person event. I came in second after and seventh in Swiss, which is a pretty great result for me. This is, I guess, technically the second year in a row I've come second in the Continental. So I guess I'm no longer allowed to say I'm bad at Netrunner, though I think there's still good reasons for me to say it. And the event was won by Ian Ronkidoge, who lives close in, is a neighbor of mine, basically. Not technically, of course. He lives like 40 minutes away or something, but has lived closer at times. And yeah, so it was cool to have the two Boston boys fly out to Cascadia and take down the entire event. The only two people from the East Coast, I think. Yeah, Solomir, I don't know. I'll see. I suspect that I'm probably never going to win a big event in person for a variety of reasons, including just not being that good at Netrunner. But no, I think this event was super cool. I like this meta. I am super excited about. I'm sure it's it very well could fall apart into some kind of prison at some point, or just a meta that we don't like, where it's just two decks battling against each other. But if you look at the top 8 here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different IDs. 7th or 9th and 10th and 11th are all new IDs as well. So it's like tons of new Corp IDs. There's a good amount of variety on the runner side as well, with 2 Arasanas, a Freedom, 3 Hoshikos, a Lat, and a 419. So this meta is looking really open, and it's 2 weeks into the meta. It probably should look open, but this was super fun. I think I'm gonna try and do a dedicated video on my 2 decks. I will probably steal thoughts from this, but as people want to ask questions, I'll probably talk about them on this stream, then hopefully move them into a video, because my videos get probably twice-ish the viewers of a stream. So yeah. But yeah, thanks, it's me. Thanks, Sadstug and Solomir and everyone. So yeah, thanks, Baramwu. Yeah, I think Arasana is really good. You know what? I might even do the elusive and pull up Solomir's Arasana list, because it keeps getting disconnected from the NSG front page, and I'm supposed to be the one fixing that, I think. So maybe we'll try and do that on stream. But yeah, this was a 10-round single-sided Swiss event. So in each round, I was paired against an opponent, and I was just play one side of the deck. So in round 1, I was at table 24 playing against Nicholas Garcia Reed. Everyone's in here more or less as full names, basically due to a TO entry. I'm not going to call it a mistake. It's a mixture of a TO mistake and a form problem, and when there's a systematic issue, it's going to be a form issue. The name field was at the top, the alias field was at the bottom, so it's much easier to fill out that one. Yeah, it was nice to meet you in person as well, that's no mun. I think part of the reason I love this event is I think I played with a few exceptions, some of the best runner I've ever played, and my opponents played up to that level as well. There was especially in the cut, there was no blowout games. I got away with robbery in a couple games. I got robbed in at most one game. And yeah. So I should probably talk about. Okay, so first, this is Ronky Doge's list. Y'all should check this out. You should like it. You should favorite it. You should comment on it. This is a masterpiece of a write-up. And you should watch the stream. Hey, thanks. I do wish I'd gotten to play art. Like, it's funny. If you watched my Arasana, all it did on stream was fucking faceplant. I went 4-0 on Arasana in this. No, that's not me. That's Joe. Okay. I went 4-1 on Arasana on the Switch. That one loss was caught on stream. I went 1-1 with Arasana in the cut, and again, that one loss was on stream, and none of my wins were caught on stream. I don't think Arasana won a game on stream all weekend, despite, you know, me and Joe going, I think, like, a combined 9-3 or something on it. So yeah. But this is a masterpiece of a meme write-up. This is Ian immediately after sneaking a win just amazingly. If you have not watched this, this is round 9 on the Twitch stream, which is up here. I am also responsible for getting this onto YouTube. Because there's 4 videos, I'm going to download them all and push them back together into 2 videos, so it's going to take me a minute, but yeah, and this actually, Salmir, this is the Oppo ring that's from Oppo, so we can get this into the Oppo art. But it was hilarious for those of you. Basically, this is just a long series of in-jokes. Basically the entire weekend was me, Ian, and Eric going, there's no way that this NEH wins a game in the cut when people understand what's going on. And of course, this NEH deck goes undefeated the entire event. It doesn't drop a single game. This deck is not looking to score. I think Ian scored 2 Bolognas in one game, and that was maybe the only agendas he scored all day. I'm not 100% on that one, though. The goal is to do some combination of Reaper function to get 2 damage, and then SIU into end of the line. It also has Mindscaping for if the runner decides to go tag me for some reason. And that's the whole deck. It's just lots of assets. It's beholds. It's every single ice gives a tag. Like, it's an amazing little deck. And I don't know if this is going to be a deck afterwards. We were talking about, it's like, yeah, Maw probably kills the deck. Freedom kills the deck dead. Because Freedom just has to trash the end of the line and basically wins the game. If you can just trash all the Reaper functions, you probably win the game. It's a super fragile game plan, but no one was able to stop it, which is kind of wild. Let's see, we've got Piss Meta, which I think is pretty self-explanatory from these diagrams. We've got Snare Bears shitting on the decks we brought. This is going to be a running theme. This is us in round 4, I think. Lilypad doesn't quite... Lilypad does stop the Reaper function. It doesn't stop Reaper function Mindscaping end of the line. So, like, it can get a little bit further. But, yeah, it dies to a lot of soft tech. So, I think in round 4... Yeah. Oh, no. Is it round... It must have been round 5, then. Yeah. This is a picture from round 5. Ian and I are both on 1 loss, which is a tough place to be. We thought this event was going to be a 3-loss makes the cut. It was, in fact, a 2-loss and a tie makes the cut, with 1 exception, which is like an incredibly intense record that you have to do. So I think Ian must have been pared down this round. No, I think we were both on 1 loss on this round because we're at table 4. So yeah, this is the 2 people that flew across the country to play each other when they could have just driven down the street. This is Ian, again, immediately after winning an absolute steal of the game in round 9. Eric being Eric, and then play error. This is, if you look at the start of this GIF, which is about to loop, here we go. He hands his archives and then goes to flip his started turn triggers, flips the Reaper function, and goes, oops, I want to flip the Gaslight here. And then has to ice this Reaper function because he thinks that his opponent, Fire IRL, got it. So, hey, it was nice to meet you too, Cinderin. Shoutouts, CTZ. So, I think this is like a deck list that 100% deserves to be deck of the week, but also, oh nope, that's the wrong one. CTZ the Worm. I haven't gotten to talk with CTZ in quite a while, and like we're both in very different places in the last time we chatted, and it was pretty fantastic to go and hang out with CTZ. Ian talked about this in the winners interview. The top three was me, Ian, and CTZ, and we were just like, this is the bomb. I don't care who wins. We're all having such a good time. Like, we're just gonna play 3 games of Netrunner, and fucking whoever wins, that's who wins, and we're gonna have a great time. And so, like, I had 2 games of CTZ in the top cut. They were both just, we were joking. He was like saying, hey, slow down, Jeff. Your brain's going crazy. Just center yourself, play your out, and go do it. And like, that was such a fun attitude. I cannot express enough love for CTZ and for Ian. This was just a fantastic event, and like, I could not be happier with how the top cut went. Genuinely, I don't even know, would winning be great? Yes. Was this event already great? Absolutely. I also think CTZ's deck here is a brilliant call for the meta. So this is probably, this is an amazing, I think, meta call for one criminal list that I think people are not going to respect, and they absolutely should. Maker's Eye and Legwork makes so much sense when Hermes' effect is in the game. It's just kind of, like, it actually changes the math you do on these. And this is just control crim that exploits the fact that Hermes is really good. Maker's Eye and Legwork, like, just get you there. And Corpse cannot stop you from getting there in a lot of cases. And you're just going to be annoying. You're just going to play control. And, like, Katorga Breakout is, like, a card that we memed on, or that gets memed on a lot, but, like, it is just great. Hey, Jamie, thanks for the congratulations. So, like, people are going to meme on this deck. I think people... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm now in the way again. People probably won't play this deck much, but I think they should. I think this is, like, such a brilliant little piece of deck building, and CTZ grinded his ass off, and not just by playing, but also by going and looking at other people play, which I think is a thing that I don't do enough, and that I think the network community in general doesn't do enough, and hopefully we can kind of all learn from this lesson. This deck list write-up also has great resources for going to improve. The 2-year turn, this is like basically... Oops. This is, I think, like, fundamentally the best way to get better at almost anything you do, and just, like, is written for Netrunner. It's just the right way to do it. And the game has, like, the game has changed. These cards are not in the meta anymore, but the advice is the same. Hey, Dan. I'm just gushing about Cascadia, having a great time. So I'm going to talk about my decks eventually. I want to give so much love to CTZ and so much love to these write-ups. Like, these videos... oh, is this actually the... We might even just watch some game. We're probably going to do some watching of the cut. I think the cut was just banger after banger game. and it's just fantastic. So yeah, it is worth it. I can't really do this in the. I'm not going to be able to cover all this, but like, it is. This is what this whole write-up is saying is fundamentals, 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 and I think it's so cool in a meta where like, a meta where I can do dumbass kickflips with triple gachapon Q loop sure gamble-less shaper. Like this deck playing the Maker's Eye is top 3. And genuinely, I think if CTZ beats me, which he had like probably a 50-50 chance of doing, I think he could have easily run away with the whole event. So like this is a 419 that I think people are going to sleep on, and they absolutely shouldn't. And yeah, this is like, respect, you know, read this write up, please, please, please. And like, what I should actually say is like, when you see a local event like this where people are gonna come, people are gonna like congregate and play, like if you can, try and make it out and be smart about it. Figure out, like for me and Ian and Andrew, it was like, we'll be there to be part of the community for a bit, and then we're gonna go back and take care of ourselves. And we had a nice time just taking care of ourselves, being friendly, talking to people at the event, and then going, okay, we're ready to like go and have dinner, relax, unwind. And then when we got to the cut, it was great. We get to go back into the zone of just being friends and buds, enjoying a card game that we get to play together. And like, so 2 parts: go to events, find friends, make friends, like just like please, 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 like make sure that you're not just playing this because it's there, because JNet can grind with you. Like make sure you're finding the fun and finding the people, because the people are what we're really here for at the end. We're going to talk about Netrunner a lot, probably for the rest of the stream, but like, you know, this event reminded me why in-person events, why tournaments are so good, is not just to prove what's best, but to like be there with other people. Like that's like, this is, even though it's not the biggest event I've come second in, it is still the most important event to me that I've come second in, because being there with people, being there with friends, like just elevated the experience so much. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a lot about my 2 decks. And you should also definitely check out CTZ Go to Cascadia. Genuinely, this might be the deck I try and start learning immediately after this stream, kind of thing. This is like exactly my kind of deck. It's to me, it feels like op deck, but in my favorite color of purple. This is such a. It's just like, it's a just no holds barred. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna put pressure, and again, it's good fundamentals Netrunner, and I think it's fantastic that like this deck, like you can just have good fundamentals. The only trick in the entire deck is probably Mick, right? The rest of it's money and ice, a little bit of fast advance with Bionic Audacity and Wage Workers, money and ice, a little bit of fast advance, just a little seasoning. Boom, blows through the cut, beats up Big Hosh, beats up Reg Hosh, beats up Krim. Like, I was really interested to listen to the process. They are very smart players. They might really well be right that Deep Dive Sable is the runner deck to beat, and it's a runner favorite meta. I'm just very skeptical of that still, because my goodness, this was like a 60% corp event. The cut was just shy of 60%. So we'll see. We'll see. I think this is a slightly court meta, but it's a court meta where every court feels down. Every runner game feels like they can pull it back. But I think corps have the edge for the time being. But we should talk about my deck. So what I will say is, I think bathtub water. I think bathtub water is like within 5 cards of being probably the best corp in the format. That's a bold statement for me to make, being the only person playing this deck, and only coming in second and losing in the finals. But I think this deck is cracked. Like, genuinely, I think you cut the slash and burn for either a second Azef or an off-world office. You probably play with the ice. You maybe can cut a slot because you're actually at quite a bit of ice. You're at 13, 16, 17 pieces of ice. Maybe you can go down to 16 and find a little bit of extra econ. Or maybe that's where you find your second audacity. But this list feels fantastic to me. I also think, like, you can play with influence. Maybe the Manic Arm's not right. The Vovo is definitely something that you can play with. But this list has felt good to me in basically every runner matchup. And it loses sometimes to the runner stealing 6 points in the first 3 turns off of R&D, which is going to happen. And then it lost to Ian in the finals to a basically perfect play, while I was drawing a little bit mediocrely. John, I've definitely thought about 3x Tucana. I think my thinking is that Mavirus also gets you Tucana in most cases. It's definitely a shot to get another Tucana, but I don't feel like it's so essential that you absolutely need all 2 or all 3. It's definitely an option though. But I should probably break down this deck a little bit. And maybe we'll go to the game against CTZ, because that was the only game of this I got to play on stream where I won. We can also walk through the game against Ian. And yeah, but basically the idea is that this is a super aggressive scoring deck. And you have a lot of ice that is good in most matchups. So Border Control and Envelopment and Magnet are actually all good turn 1 scoring ice. Basically, so you have 8 ice that you can score behind with a Oaktown Renovation on turn 1. Very, very, against Criminal, maybe you don't have this scoring line because you can't go install an ice, advance the Oaktown, put down the ice, and you get doofed, right? But you have so many other advantages against Criminal in general that I'm not too worried about it. But against Shaper and Anarch, you can pretty reliably turn 1 score, set up to score an agenda on turn 1, which is really powerful. And if you can't do it on turn 1, you can do it on turn 2 or turn 3. And so then runners are like, okay, it's fine, I'll let you have 1. Okay, fine, I'll let you get to 4. And this deck closes from 4 to 7 actually pretty effectively. Atlas counters are really good, though I'll be honest, I use a lot of Atlas counters to grab extracts. The deck is a touch too poor. I think that might be why turning a slash and burn agriculture into an off-world office is probably justified. But this deck is not trying to do a lot of ob kickflips. It's just trying to apply pressure to the runner by pushing out agendas as quickly and as often as possible. And you will trade agendas for tempo. You're not looking to guarantee that every remote is safe. You're looking to guarantee that the remote is going to cost the runner more than it's going to cost you. Rezzing a border control, popping a border control to eat 2 SMCs, it's pretty good. In terms of resources spent, especially when the runner goes low on credits. Envelopment's very good in taxing. Sandstone can be surprisingly taxing. Whoredom felt pretty mediocre on the day. Magnet feels fantastic. 3 strength is really good in a meta full of Amakua. White space is there because I didn't like any of the other 2 cost ice. Half-run is here for the Stavka half-run combo. I don't think I ever actually used this combo. So it's arguable whether or not you need the half run. The idea is that you res a Stavka. Actually, let me go and pull up full text cards. Let me see if I can get this up. Okay, so Stavka says when you res this ice, you may trash one of your other installed cards. If you do this, ice gets +5 strength for the remainder of the run. And of course, op then lets you go and search for, because you trashed one of your own cards through a card ability, which is kind of what the op text says implicitly, even though it maybe doesn't say that explicitly. If we trash a 3-cost card, we can then go and search for a 2-cost card. And half run, of course, is a 2-cost card. And it says, when you res this ice during a run, you may trash one card from HQ. If you do, choose one installed runner card. That card's abilities cannot break subroutines for the remainder of the run. So when you then do this, you can, during this, while the runner's approaching the Stavka, you can say, oh, I'm going to blank your Sentry Breaker, trash 2 programs, good luck, have fun, I hope you packed Recursion. Against Shaper, they often do have Recursion, so this is almost more of a tempo play. The thing that turned out on the day is that basically I could rush so quickly that runners didn't have time to get their Sentry Breaker down and just had to hope it wasn't a Stavka. So to me, that's almost an argument for saying you should be on 3 Stavka, 0 half runs. Hey, thanks, Andre. But that's something to play with. I think one of the neat things about this deck is because you're playing op, so you're resing your ice and then turning it into more res ice, and you're playing Tucana, which reses ice for you, you're really resilient to Hermes. And I had some games where opponent installed Hermes, I score an agenda off Tucana, I overwrite my face down ice because I don't need to pay an extra credit. You just say, sure, there's no cards for you to bounce with Hermes. Yeah, you got me to overwrite an ice, but I have a different ice here for you that's actually maybe even more annoying. So, yeah, it's I think this list poses some really good threats to the runners. I personally actually think Vovo is great in this list. Because this list can build Doom remotes where you have 3 or 4 upgrades in a remote server. I guess you could have 4 remotes. You don't usually have 4 distinct upgrades in one remote, though I probably did that in at least one game. But you can also put upgrades in weird places. You can put, Manigarm on R&D is actually a pretty solid line in this deck, because it can become, the big thing here is not overcommitting to your remote, because your remote probably needs 2, maybe 3 pieces of ice to become effectively impenetrable to the runner, or at least extremely taxing to the point where the runner often ignores it. So then the rest of your defenses should be going onto R&D. So this is it's a playstyle thing that I learned, was oh, if I don't protect centrals, I lose a lot. Fortunately, Tucana helps me protect centrals while scoring out of a remote. And it's a little bit funky, but having so much ice makes it really hard for the runner to, if the runner starts applying pressure to a lot of centrals, you will have an ice to put there. Yeah, and that's the other big thing about Vovo, is that we have so many 2-costs. We have Manigarms, we have Tucanas, we have the half runs, we have the magnets, and we have the Regalith mining licenses. And all of those we're happy to turn into a Vovo using an extract or just emptying them out. And then suddenly our server gets even better. So it's just I really hope more people try this list and help me figure out, even though I say I think this list is basically done, I'm excited to see what people figure out to make it better. I think Slash and Burn was just a liability for me on the day. I think it's funny. I think in the match against Ian, if it's literally any other agenda, I probably win that match. That match was close enough where a click and a credit was probably the difference maker between me winning and him winning. Like, it was such a tight match, and he also, again, Ian played that match fucking amazing. We'll probably should go and back and watch it, and we'll find all the mistakes I made. But like, in theory, this was a fast advance piece that saves me a slot. In practice, I literally never needed it to fast advance. It also didn't really get stolen on the day, but we'll see. But yeah, people should try this list. I think it's a lot of fun. I also think it's one of those lists that's harder to build than it is to play, so hopefully people will enjoy that aspect of it. And I will put together a video where I go through the list maybe in a little bit more detail and include some gameplay footage, because I think this is a sick list and a really fun one, even if it ends up not being that important to the meta overall. Next up, we got Hold the Waffles. This is the runner list I was playing. I think this list is a early draft of something that is going to be very powerful. I think this list is powerful. I think it is a fraction of the true power of Arasana. This is all true. I literally posted this list exactly and then said, I'm happy to take swaps here. And then people proposed a bunch of swaps. This is only a fraction of it. This just is the part that includes a joke. And I said, oh man, those are all great suggestions. I did not bring any of those cards with me. Tough. One of the big ones actually that we discussed was Earthrise Hotel versus Dr. Nuka. And this one I still actually think I'm right about, but it's a little bit less obvious. So Dr. Nuka obviously is when you saw this resource, load 2 power counters on it. When it's empty, trash it. Versus Earthrise Hotel, which is 4 credits, load 3 power counters on it when it's empty, trash it, draw 2 cards at the start of your turn. So both of these draw 6. And Dr. Nuka you can install and click twice and get all 6 of those immediately. So it costs you 3 clicks and 1 credit, and you get the 6 cards. Versus Earthrise, you install it for 4, and then you have to wait 3 turns to get the draw. The thing that I was finding when playtesting is I never wanted, when I say playtesting, I just mean testing for this event. I never wanted to take the click to draw. Clicking to draw, like taking 2 clicks to draw 3 cards felt so slow, because I want to be running, installing a card, drawing off of Lily Pad, and then like installing or making more credits or whatever. And so like I have a very greedy engine. I have an engine, right? This is a engine that has icebreakers I need to install, resources I need to install, hardware I need to install, programs I'm probably tricking out a lot of. But this is such a click intensive engine that spending clicks to draw felt super, super slow to me. It also was like, hey, if I do have a lily pad down, I'm never installing a Dr. Nuka. But there are board states where I can have a lily pad down and want to install an Earthrise. And like the fact that Earthrise Hotel was often coming down for 2 credits or 0 credits, to me made it much better than Nuka. There are games where Earthrise was a dead card in my hand. That's definitely the case. But usually Earthrise was a dead card in my hand because I was at the end of my deck. And that's fine. That's just a draw card at the end of the deck. And I'm like, from my perspective, I'm already planning to install a 4-cost draw card. And so actually, if I can draw the Earthrise Hotel, that can often replace my need to draw a lily pad early. So yes, Dr. Nuka does cost less all the time, but it costs more in clicks. And that was kind of what I was feeling when I was playing this deck, is you are so click compressed that spending the click to Diesel always felt like an awkward part of my turn. Like, just playing a Diesel feels fine. Going click install, click Diesel is tough. It's very tough. Because now you have a click to run, and a click to dump a card out of your hand. Whereas if you get the Earthrise draw, you have 4 clicks to figure out what you should be doing. Now, maybe that's wrong. It was just what I was feeling experientially while playing. Zero Dreamnet is interesting over it. Any specific reason for that? Basically, I never thought of putting DreamNet in. This is what I mean by saying, hey, CTZ. Yeah, Hotel Motel is good. I think DreamNet is definitely an option. I think DreamNet does draw less, right? Like, I am paying the same amount as an Earthrise Hotel, nearly, and I have to use it over 7 turns, so to get the same value. So I just have better draw options. Prognostic Q-Loop and Gachapon are just better draw cards than DreamNet. Not that DreamNet's bad, it's just outpaced by other stuff. And you know, I should Solmir's Arasana deck when it gets posted again. Also, Solmir, if you want to publish it, wouldn't say no to that. Though maybe I heard rumors that someone else is publishing it, maybe. But that deck is a little more foundational. Like, just a little more good stuff. And the way I was playing this Arasana list is you're kind of, you build, you let the corp get a lead, you build, and then suddenly you spend 2 turns just conduiting R&D. The corp cannot stop it most of the time. And you just win on the spot. So you're not looking to, like, grind value as much. Like, you're just looking to build, and then you hit a critical mass, and then bam, you smack and win the game. I think you can build Arasana to grind value a ton. I think she's a really powerful ID for that. It was just a playstyle that was harder for me than saying, I'm going to control the board, I'm going to stay even, and then, boom, we're going to slam R&D, and you just cannot stop it. And for that, you know, Earthrise Hotel was much better. DreamNet would take a long time to pay off to the same degree. There's, like, a lot of turns, right, where if you get Lily Pad early, you want to do an early run against a central that's open. You know, install your Cubon on the piece of ice that you're not going to go through because you're not paying for ice in the early game. You draw your card, and, oh, it's my, you know, if I draw a DreamNet and I'm about to make a successful run, am I going to jack out so I can install the DreamNet and then make a successful run? No. So I'm giving up a turn already on my draw card. And so, to me, Earthrise makes a ton of sense in the deck. It could very well be wrong, right? This is, like, Obelisk, I think, very close to being correct. I think there's... I would not be surprised if 5 to 6 slots change. For the Arasana list, I would not be surprised if 20 slots are off of what the final good list is. But I do think that this list is pretty good against a subset of decks, and those happen to be decks that I faced a lot on the day. So what is this deck actually trying to do? So it's trying to do some early starts with Creative Commission Dirty Laundry. The daily cast being sure gambles would have just been correct. It would just be much nicer. It's like cut 2 daily casts and cut maybe nothing. Maybe you just play 2 sure gambles because it is actually the worst of your Creative Commissions and Dirty Laundry econ options in this deck. This deck definitely wants Dirty Laundry over sure gamble. I don't feel like that's a wrong choice. And Creative Commission is good, but... and like this no free lunch was basically dead, though it came up clutch in exactly 1 game. But yeah, like this list just plays kind of like Shaper Control, and does some powerful stuff with Q-Loop and Gachapon. It can install off-turn, it can install mid-run. Pinhole is a great option as well. I think 1 Pinhole would make a ton of sense. So yeah, I don't know. Like, this list felt really good. It looks really funky. It looks like I'm doing lots of of kickflips, but in practice, it plays fairly straightforward. You put Cubons and Pichachons on R&D, or you put them on the remote that the Corp is trying to score out of. If you put them on the remote, the Corp probably is just throwing away all their ice, which is great. If you're putting them on R&D because it's under-defended, you just conduit them to death. I would also love to like drop the Buzzsaw, drop the No Free Lunch, put in a legwork. I think that would be a great include in the deck. You could also try a Docklands Pass. I'm less sold on Docklands Pass, but it's definitely an option. I think I just personally still prefer legwork over Docklands Pass, especially in a kind of control deck. Would I rather have an early cast or an early environmental testing? After turn 1, I would prefer an early environmental testing. Environmental testing is extremely easy to trigger in this deck, right? We have let's not count lily pad as an environmental testing trigger because it's tough, right? If you draw an environmental testing and a lily pad, you're installing the lily pad first. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 triggers. 18 cards that we can trigger. And if we have an Urban Art Vernissage, it just gets crazy. Urban Art Vernissage just makes environmental testing go off like that, right? I install environmental testing, I run a central, I install Cubon, gets a counter, and I get a HQ access. Next turn, I bounce the Cubon back, I install it again on a run, so I'm just making runs and getting 2 counters. I'm drawing through my deck at some point, I install a gotcha, so I had a turn in the event, it was, I think there is a philosophy on this deck that is, this deck wins late regardless of what you do. And so why would you play a slow card when you could play a different slow card that is more consistent? And to me, the answer is basically, if I'm looking to draw an economy card on the last turn of the game, environmental testing is actually super easy to go off, right? I had a turn against my round 2 opponent. No, I think it was my round 1 opponent. So probably not on average the best player, but it was against a Reality Plus deck, and it's the off-world dock. It was the Artificial Crypto Crash, Bologna. My opponent scores an early Tomorrow's Headline, and then scores a Artificial Crypto Crash, or actually they may have scored an Above the Law. I don't remember. Not Above the Law. Off-World Office. So they're on 4. I go to 0 credits. And they're on 3 credits or something. They've got a pretty weak remote, but something of a remote, and they install Advance of Bologna. I drip 2 off of daily casts, and I have an environmental testing in my hand with 3 credits on an Urban Art Vernissage. I install the Urban Art Vernissage. I use one of my 2 credits from daily casts to install a Simulchip. Then I run the remote, pop a Gachapon, install a program, Simulchip a program, boom, and then Arasana install, boom. I've popped my environmental testing, I put it down for 0 credits, I gain 9 for a click, or 2 clicks, basically. Felt very, very good, and in general, I never had a hard time triggering environmental testing in more than 2 turns. So to me, this is a card that looks really dubious, but in practice is pretty fine. Now, again, it might be that I'm playing in a unoptimized Corp meta with an unoptimized runner and feeling good. I think that's actually pretty legitimately likely how this deck kind of functions. But this list felt pretty good to me. The Q Loop I actually think is a power player. But I only saw it once on the day, basically in this final game against CTZ. So yeah, I don't know. This event felt great. It was so much fun. My opponents were great. The cut was such a fun atmosphere where it was all really good players, all playing really well, but we were all like being really friendly. There did not feel like people were trying to angle shoot. It was like, oh, you made a mistake here. Like, here's your have your miss trigger back. Like, it's not been a big amount of time. You know, it was like a, it was just like this atmosphere that was relaxed and focused on playing well, and it feels like it actually really showed in the cut games. Like, it was some of the highest level netrunner I feel like I've played against people that I didn't like, weren't like testing and talking about lines together actively in the middle of the game. So yeah, you know what? I said I was going to do maybe no gameplay. Maybe we'll do a little bit. Let's do a little bit of gameplay review. I can't show any of the Arasana games, unfortunately. I just get steamrolled in them. Let's see. Let's try and jump to the game against CTZ, maybe. Okay. This looks like the end of the game. Okay, can I like increase the playback speed? Yes, we can. Fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna go at like 2x speed because this is a long game. But let's go back to the start. Okay, so my general idea when thinking about 419 is that I'm pretty favored into Crim automatically because I have fast advance to close it out, and they have really no ways of interacting, and they're pretty weak to Stavka. So I generally feel like I'm pretty up by default in the matchup, and I have to just make sure to not pilot myself into weird openings. CTZ does actually find some good openings. We like look at our list for like maybe a minute and then go, okay, I'll ask you what's in the list, and then we'll just play that way. So yeah, we're literally calling for a judge going, hey, we're done looking at lists. That was enough time. We deal out cards. I don't know if we'll be able to see my hand. Oh, good. We can see my hand. Okay, what does this look like? Now I'm like trying to... Okay, so this looks like... Okay, so this is Hedge Fund, Border Control, Mavirus, Rashida, and Atlas. Oh, yes. Theater mode is definitely the correct way to go. Thank you, Jamie. Okay. We can... You know what? Do we need the chat? I don't know. Do people want the chat? I guess we can put the chat in there. I feel like people enjoy that. Okay. So what I'm thinking about here is Mavirus is a really good card in this matchup because every criminal is on Amakua. Border Control is great. It's good for scoring. And Atlas is the agenda I want to score. Hedge Fund's great. Rashida's great. This is a great hand. It just doesn't actually have a great turn one. Because against Criminal, I can't just go install card in the remote, install Ice Breaking in the remote, Hedge Fund. That would be my normal... Actually, I guess I technically can do that play. So maybe I think I might just keep my hand because of that. Like, this is definitely a keep. And then I draw, and I think I draw... Okay, I draw a Spin Doctor, and then I click to draw because I don't have another good turn. Hedge Fund installed. Maybe I did draw a piece of ice there. It's a little bit hard to tell. And you can see me nervously shuffling because I apparently do that. Alright, Amakua comes down. Career Fair out, a Class Act. I missed one of CTZ's other clicks there. And yeah, so we're just going to Spin Doctor, draw some cards, find some ice finally. Gonna Hedge Fund. This deck doesn't need, like, I feel like this deck ends up needing about 3 economy events to stay in it, and then I put an upgrade on HQ. This upgrade on HQ is the Mavirus I had in hand. The idea is that this Mavirus is a pretty persistent threat throughout the whole game. And this is honestly how this deck loses a lot, right? Is it bleeds 4 points off the top of R&D right away. And this is what running 11 agendas does. And that's just kind of a thing you have to account for. And like, maybe you want to ice pretty aggressively early. I just think it's generally runners will try and run you, like, contest your remote. In which case, you're like if you can get bait the runner and contesting your remote, you're in a really good spot. There was some back and forth on whether or not I wanted to reveal this hostile takeover when I scored it. Hostile takeover is also like, it's really nice in this deck that you have 5 econ agendas. I get to, yeah, here we're just talking about the Oaktown, how I get to install it and then not pay for it, and it doesn't count as revealed. And this is like, I think this is just a border control, and the idea is that I can res them a virus, fire the border control, and then still have the border control like boomerang trick, or I can deal with like boomerangs as well. So he grabs Dan B's boomerang token, makes a run on the remote, I spend the border control, boomerang gets popped, and then I pop the border control. Now, it's interesting. I'm probably actually supposed to pop the border control before the boomerang goes in the heap. This is like a super, a pretty like subtle thing, which is that by the boomerang going in the heap, it can be Katorga'd out later. I'm going to move myself down here because there's not information on this part of the screen. Whereas, so like it can't be trashed manually. This didn't actually become relevant, but could have become relevant on at least one turn in this game. I just get Sandstone because it's the highest strength thing. It does fold to like install a second boomerang run, but part of my idea is that I can't, like, there's not a point in respecting every possible out. It's just about making the runner like figure out which outs they have. And then I just score out the Oaktown, making some more money, and R&D is still open. So Cortez is on 2. Yeah, the other copy can get it unstuck, but the he has 2 copies of Katorga Breakout and 1 copy of Boomerang, so it's more likely he'll draw the Katorga Breakout than Boomerang. It's not that difficult of a choice, honestly. It's effectively the same result, I just get more out of it if I pop it before he Boomerangs. It's like a mistake that doesn't matter. Like, it's one of those like 2% optimizations that feel good. This Tucana return, I actually think this is because I have... It maybe should be Mavirus because Mavirus is so good, but Tucana is also really important for the deck. But yeah, so let's see. We're just blitzing through this. We're finally icing up. I have to pay the 419 tax. I install. I think about this. I'm trying to remember if this must not be an Atlas. Now I'm installing an upgrade on R&D. So you can put upgrades in weird places on this deck because Vovo is a thing, and that's actually what that is on R&D. Just trying to make sure that my stuff is cheap. Everything can look like a virus here, so Cortez kind of has to be respectful of it. He's going to inside job the remote, and it's Rashida. Trashing it with a bad pub. Let's see. We're tracking clicks. I think he's got 2 clicks left. So we can actually see he's got a Katorga Breakout in hand. I know he has 2 doofs at some point pretty soon, but it's going to be a minute. But yeah, it's a little bit tricky, right? So I'm threatening having a Stavka on R&D here. I'm threatening... Actually, that's really what I'm threatening, right? And so if he goes and runs R&D willy-nilly here, I could potentially get away with some Netrunner crimes, where I blow up his rig and can lock him out eventually. We're going to Bravado. And I forget where this Bravado is going. I think I'm thinking long and hard about the res here. Okay, it is a border control. I'm thinking about my hand, because I think I have an agenda in hand, and so I don't really want to give this up. And so I'm going to pop the border control before he pays to pass it, just to minimize the amount of credits he gets. Oh, maybe I don't have an agenda in hand. I'm just getting the magnet. Hey, Sonny. So Vovo felt pretty good for me on the day. Basically, to me, it's the best 1 cost in the game right now. And so that kind of justifies its slot. And now I'm showing the Atlas because I'm like, because I have him a virus on HQ, it's completely safe. Um, this is Andrew telling me to slow down. I don't need to rush. We can take our time and think about the game. And so I slow down my hand motions a little bit. But yeah, this is actually Vovo on R&D. And so I leave myself open for Doof here. So my turn was just install a Atlas, showing it to CTZ, install a piece of ice, and advance the Atlas, and then move the Vovo over to the remote. And so we've got a really fun turn from CTZ here that I actually do a small misplay on. So going open HQ is very risky against Crim, and because of this, what I'm supposed to do here is res this Mavirus on HQ. Because I was thinking, so the reason I didn't is I was like, oh, this is a Stavka. I need to be able to stop him from getting in. But then I'm in the moment as I'm speaking right now going, or like literally 2 minutes after, like the turn after this going, wait, I can just purge and he can't get in. And I can purge, grab a Managarm so he really can't get in and I'd be fine. And I'd be slightly up because I'd have him a virus res, which will reset his Amakua at some point in the game. But it is what it is. So Andrew has the option of basically running Archives once to get the Strength 5, and then going Strength 5 through the remote here. This is where Vovo is kind of cool. This could be any ice in my deck, and I can res it. With a Vovo and 3 credits, I can res every single ice in my deck. And actually this Kurapira... oh, that's no moon. The decision is not whether or not to res Mavirus instead of install the Stavka. I think the Stavka is pretty useful on the remote, but it arguably could go on R&D. Oops, I went back too much. So install Stavka on HQ is probably a completely fine play here. The actual decision is when CTZ comes in for the diversion of funds here. I need to go back a second. I need to go back to when I have credits. Okay. So this is click 1. He goes... oops, here we go. Where are we? Okay. I set up the remote. And then he goes... click 1, diversion of funds. And so, when he goes for this diversion of funds, I can res them a virus. That means that I go down to 4 credits, and he has to choose between stealing, or he gets to choose. And if he accesses, I get to wipe out his Amakua, do a net damage, and continue on my merry way. If he chooses to diversion me, I go down to 0 credits, but I now have them a virus res. Instead of going at 2 credits and being unable to res them a virus. It doesn't end up mattering, though actually now that I think about it, if he had a line like run R&D, gain an Amakua counter, and then inside job, he could get into the remote. So, like, I have lots of lines that are slightly better than the one I did. The reason I put the Stavka here is I felt like my remote was a little bit, my remote felt a little bit breachable, but I think actually with a Mavirus on HQ, my remote's not really breachable, and just putting Stavka on HQ does effectively the same thing and shuts off a central server. I think the reason I'm playing like this is my HQ is completely clean of agendas, right? There's 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 points of agendas out on the table, and we're probably a third of the way through the deck at most. It's like pretty likely that my HQ is clean, and I'm pretty sure it is clean at this point. So yeah, I take 3, CTZ gets a whole turn, but I still feel kind of safe. And so now he goes for the remote, and I get to do the really fun play of going res Stavka for 2 credits. And then I'm just trashing the Vovo, and I'm actually very intentionally pulling Rashida here rather than Spin Doctor, because I don't want to accidentally draw agendas. If I accidentally draw agendas, I'm opening myself up to just losing. And like R&D in theory can have the same problem, but I don't like. I'm going to be it's going to be a whole nother 2 turns before I can score. And so just making Andrew spend a click is worth it for me, or CTZ spend a click. And I also get to take out both of his breakers, which feels pretty good. He does have 2 more Amakuas, but taking out his barrier breaker is not bad for me. Trashing the Regolith, my Virus Purge. Yeah, so I draw an Oaktown. I credit, and then I extract. And what I'm going to do, I think, is extract. I think I'm actually supposed to extract the Stavka there, but it doesn't matter immensely. This is the only use I get out of half run all weekend, is installing it on HQ as a end the run that can be broken by 2 types of breakers, but it is strength 3, so that's the big deal here. This is 2x speed. Can I go to 4x speed? But yeah, extract just gets me back in the game. My money's pretty good. I played 2 Hedgehogs and extract, and that's been my whole econ this game, along with scoring a hostile takeover. I res a Sandstone on R&D, and CTZ is soft locked for a little while. I then get to score an Atlas with a counter, going down to 3 credits, and the game is done pretty, I'm threatening to win the game pretty quickly. He goes for a Katorga Breakout to reinstall his Capoeira, which lets him get through both, and he Legworks. And I know I have an Oaktown in hand. I think he just... Oh wait, do I only have 3 cards, or do I have 4 cards? We're going to find out in a second. I do have 3 cards, so I know he's going to get the Oaktown. But I just happen to not draw any agendas. It's 2 envelopments instead. I'm going to search my deck. I grab an Audacity, and I get the... I just top deck the Azef. And that's the game. And that's part of why the Crim matchup feels good. Once you get on an Atlas counter, you have so many outs and a lot of punishments. So that game, I think, was pretty well played by both of us. Andrew's talking about how he has the Maker's Eye in hand, and so was getting ready to go for a big Maker's Eye, Legwork, Katorgas, whatever. But he had real shots at winning. I think if he goes for the Maker's Eye instead of the Legwork, he's got a decent chance in that game. Because he's on 6, right? Or he's on 4 and maybe gets to 7. It's a real possibility. And then we get to see this game against Ian. Let's see. We take a few minutes. Okay. And this is a game where I think my mulligan choice was bad. So I think I kept my hand because I was like, oh, I can mulligan into a lot worse. I felt pretty up in the matchup, maybe more up than I actually was. Which also didn't help. Yeah, so this is a hand, we can kind of see it. So this is Sandstone, I think that's a Stavka, yep. Sandstone, Stavka, an Extract, or maybe that's a Tucana, I think, a Half Run, and an Extract. So this is actually a pretty bad set of ice. I can't really score out behind any of them early, and yet for some reason I decide to keep the hand. This is just a mistake. So I click 1 draw, I install, and then I install the Spin Doctor. This hand is still totally recoverable. It's not game losing, but it is just a mistake to keep. I have stronger hands, and I can probably go for stronger hands here. The hands that lose me are something like 3 agendas. because my hand has no agendas, I figure I should try and draw so I can move some agendas into hand. But yeah. I have a lot of ice, so I can like actually like ice up centrals, which is I think what I go to do here and what I should be doing here. I'm having a slow start, but that's okay. And I just discard the half run because I want the half run back at some point. And I start going too fast and flipping my cards face up. This is a thing I need to work on as a general player skill and in person. I always just rush to flipping up my archives. I should be letting the runner take all their triggers. That's a PSA for everyone out here. So my hand's very slow. And that's a big downside in a rush deck. Goes to HQ. I want to bounce him. Oh, yes. I guess he gets through because he has enough sucker counters. I have the extract. So yeah, like Ian's doing a very good job. This is you can't tell because of the glare. This is an Amakua. It looks like it's got a couple of counters on it. It's all advanced. I think this has to be a Movirus in the remote. Also, shoutouts to Cephalopod Wizard, who you can see in the corner here. Okay, so this is Movirus, and I think the Regolith Mining License, if I remember correctly. Because I don't have agendas to push, so I might as well make money. And present some threats. And Ian's doing a great job of just poking for singles where he can. I think he mostly pokes HQ. Runs after the Spin Doctor on not very many credits. I shuffle back the Hedge Fund and the Half Run, which is a pretty low value Spin Doctor. I think it's actually pretty reasonable for me to just tell Ian you can trash it. Because if we look back at this run, like, he's on 5 credits. If he goes down to 3, I don't think I care. Or I guess it really, he goes down to 4 because he gets the DreamNet trigger. But he's going to get the DreamNet trigger this turn anyway, I think. As Regolith, click it 3 times. Usually you want to extract the Regolith. You don't want to get the full value out of it. Hey, thanks, John. Yeah, I'm glad I got to pilot it twice on stream. I'm a little bit sad I did lose on stream. I think Ian and I played early in the cut. He had a rough game, and so I like just rolled it. But I think this deck is very good. A Hippo fires, killing my HQ ice. We're gonna raindrops HQ. Like, I think the thing here is my HQ is completely clean, but it's not unreasonable to just run HQ and try and keep a server open. Let's see what's going on here. I empty out the Regolith, which is generally a pretty slow play, but I have a ton of money. Here I'm panicking because I can't find my Tithe because I'm like too high on adrenaline, and I just go, oh, let's go through the deck slowly, and it's right there. Tithe on HQ is just a nice little piece of ice. Ian's going to end up giving me, like, I think 6 credits or so off the Tithe, which is pretty good for a 1-cost piece of ice that I got by clicking for 3 credits. It's pretty good. I ended up putting a second ice on it. I think is that the Stavka? I don't remember. There's a Stavka on this board. I think maybe it's on R&D. Ian clicks down Liberated. I use a virus to purge and then search for Tucana, I think. Oh, interesting. White space is a weird pull there. Maybe I have oh, I think I have one of my Tucanas in hand and the other one in the bin. Which is why I don't tutor for a Tucana here. Yeah, which could maybe be an argument for a third Tucana, but yeah, white space is just the best 2-cost target I have left in the deck at this point. And I'm asking Ian how many Botulists he has on the deck. He just pulls out his deck list. Not supposed to be something that either of us can do, but Tio's kind of let it ride, so. Here we have a very bad gacha pull. He was going to exile everything, and here I tell him, no, install the second Namakua. This ultimately cost me the game that I tell him to install the second Namakua. Because it means that his leech survives, and his leech surviving wins him the game. But that's fine. Like this is playing Netrunner with friends. It just happens to be in the top cut, which I think was like such a cool thing about this top cut. Yeah, he immediately runs into a Stavka here. Do I pay for this Stavka? Let's find out. There we go. And then we see a single card off of R&D. It's a Mafire's. And I end up not trashing because I have no good trash targets. I can't put a Rashida in a remote. I don't want to trash my white space for a Vovo for some reason. Oh, because white space is annoying enough. And I don't really, and I have no good 2-cost targets as we've already established, and I didn't need them. So R&D is technically open right now. Ian's on 10 credits, and white space he could get through for effectively 3 credits, which is not great for me. This Wake Implant is what's going to end up winning Ian the game. I extract the Stavka quickly to try and get a hard lockout on R&D. Because Skunk R&D trashing Magnet, I think this is a hand that's super awkward because I draw Tucana and Skunkworks and my second Tucana. Like, I'm pretty sure if we... Let's see. Let's see if we can spot my hand. Okay, looks like I have a Tucana in hand. So maybe I don't know why I'm not grabbing a Manic Arm. I feel like the Manic Arm ended up in my hand at some point, or maybe it ended up in Archives. We have to go back and check. I think maybe it ends up in Archives. Because getting a Skunk on R&D is obviously, or on HQ is good here. This Buzzsaw coming down with this many cards left in the deck is tough for me. But it is just like enough to be very annoying. But yeah, Skunk on R&D would be good. I forget if the Skunk is in my remote or if it got trashed or if I'm just forgetting. But I from what I remember, there's a reason I don't Skunk this game, and it's because it's in a place I don't want it to be. I have to I wish I could like just reach in and check Archives really quick. Score a Slash and Burn, which is the worst possible agenda here. And then I install a Border Control on R&D, which I figure is kind of nice. And then I get to put... I forget if this is a 3-2 or if it's... I think it might just be an Atlas that I put in the remote. Yeah, it's got to be an Atlas if I go install Advanced, take a credit, or something like that. Yeah, my HQ is just completely open right now, which is a real problem. And maybe is an argument for I'm supposed to put the Border Control here, so that he can't charge up his Wake. This actually, as I'm thinking about this, is probably a mistake, right? putting, like, even though he's got the wake down, he can't charge the wake unless he can get into HQ. And so putting the border control on HQ requires him to go and get a second breaker. So I think this is just a mistake. Oh, wait, I'm searching through my deck here. We can quickly look for... We can probably see if I can get a Manic Arm. Okay. Oh, shoot, was that it? Hold on, we're doing forensics. Oh, fudge. That looks like a Vovo, maybe? I think the Manic Armor is gone. Okay, and here I maybe get a little bit wiser and put the envelopment on it, on HQ to require him to go and find some stuff for it. He gets the Amakua back down. Hey, and yeah, we're getting to the good part of the game where I realize we also just realized like this border control was supposed to go onto HQ because you already had the buzzsaw down, so Sandstone border control stops you from charging up the wake a little bit. But oh no, you can definitely see a Manic Arm. Oh, so the Manic Arm is in Archives. Archives was a magnet, if I remember correctly. But it being a magnet is okay because there's also Tomb of Viruses in there, so you're not actually going to be able to gain forward momentum off of running Archives. I think maybe the reason I don't do border controls, I'm like, oh, you can run Archives, get to 1 strength on Amakua, and then run through HQ. But I think that's a big deal. Oh yeah, I think we are about to embark on Piss Meta, like, almost immediately here. Yeah, I'm right now at this point in the game, I'm feeling fantastic. Because I'm up 4-2 with a Atlas counter, so I feel like I'm in a good spot. Devil Charm, though, is such a sick card for this deck. It opens up a lot of extra punches that you can't normally get away with. I wonder if that purge is wrong. I think I purge because I'm like, I have the game softly locked here, but Devil Charm means I don't. This is like just a bad hit with a Gachapon. I think we just gave... Oh, no, we didn't give you the pre-turn gacha. Yeah, because you had drawn a card. I'm here trying not to piss myself really hard. Envelopment trashes. I decide to search for a Whoredom. And here we go into piss meta. Whoredom is mildly annoying for Buzzsaw. It's not actively annoying. It just means that the leech counters don't build up. Yep, rip the Atlas from hand on the 50-50, which is fine, right? Did I talk about the fact that I used the Audacity to get the Atlas counter? Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm not... Oh, no, did I not use the Atlas counter? For the Audacity? I thought I used an Audacity to score this, but I guess I didn't. Maybe that was a different game. Yeah, I must not, because I don't have enough cards in hand. Yeah, yeah, okay. I was thinking of a different game where I Audacity to get an Atlas counter. Yeah, yeah. It was my game against Cody where I had Audacity to get an Atlas counter. That's what it was. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Ian's trying to figure out how to keep his Botulus. And then we both run out to go pee. We are gone. I have not watched this yet. Okay. So you raindrops cut stone HQ. And then install Botulus, run R&D. I had forgotten that the thing was and then boom. And then I draw... Oh, this is why I don't go for a score. Because I draw the Oaktown here, not the 3-2. Right? So that's an Oaktown that I draw. And I think I can't go install Advance in the remote. Because I need 9 credits to protect the remote. And I would only go up to 7. And so I'm thinking, okay, I just need to do it next turn. How do I get through envelopment? You pop the Devil Charm. I think you pop the Devil Charm on it. Let's go back and look. We have to go back to the other side of the P break. I'm pretty sure you pop the... Oh, how do you get through envelopment on the remote? Oh, yeah, you don't. Yeah, how would he get through the envelopment on the remote? I'd have to check. I forget if you had a second... Yeah, I think this is like my one misplay of the entire... of like this... my big misplay in this entire game. I forget what that fist bump was about. Because we were already started the turn, but whatever. Yeah. So it's mandatory draw envelopment. So I think I'm like, oh, right. I told you could break white space for 1 with Buzzsaw. Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Thank you. I'm glad you remembered. Okay. So, yeah, this is the thing where it's like looking back, I just made a pretty boneheaded mistake, which is just install. Oh, you know what I think it was? It's, Botulus gains a counter. You have a Leech and an Amakua installed. Turtle is on 1 and so is Leech. Botulus gets a counter. You run R&D. You see 3 cards. I can lose the game on that. If I don't, Sandstone goes down to strength 3, and Leech gets a second counter, and Amakua potentially gets a second counter. Then you can run R&D, spend a Leech, go in. You then break even on Leech, go up on Amakua, and then you go up on Leech, up on Amakua, run the remote, seal the game. Now that is if you're playing around exactly envelopment and you anticipate running last click into envelopment, but that doesn't play around last click R&D. Yeah, so I think this is like I legitimately kind of threw the game this turn. I'm supposed to just go install, advance the Oaktown. Because the other card in my hand I think is a hedge fund. I'm actually like 90% sure it's a hedge fund. Instead I click to draw. And it is a above the law. Yeah, it's hedge fund. I draw an Oaktown, so it's install. So maybe I could go install, advance the Oaktown, play a hedge fund which actually also gets me to 10 credits, which is enough to res the envelopment and border control. Oh my goodness, I really... Like, this is partly why I didn't want to watch this back, was because I knew I had misplayed this final turn. And it's such a bad misplay that it actually, I think, wins me the game, unless the top 4 cards of R&D are agendas. But that's okay. That's why we, you know, we live and learn. And, like, this is, like, Ian, like, I know you're in chat. You earned this win every damn centimeter of it. Like, this was a fantastic game of Netrunner. But I think it's, like, it's interesting that, like, I don't know. I thought this was a great game. I still think my deck's pretty good, even if you don't brain fart on it. And I'll blame this on having played, you know, 2 straight days of tons of Netrunner. And yeah, this board state's complex, because it's like, hey, let's say I go for that play, right? R&D is effectively completely open. Oh, what are my chances on winning versus NEH? Like, at best, 40%. At best. I need to start pretty well. I need to get in my, like, top quarter of hands, probably, to beat his NEH. I think we decided that I had 2 lines against his NEH. One is start with a start with a Creative Commission of Dirty Laundry, and just run to make sure he never gets Reaper functions down, right? And trash SIUs. And hope that I don't hit too many beholds. And the other line is do that, and then at some point, hope that I can put down a conduit and just tunnel R&D for, like, roughly 1 trillion credits. It's very hard for me to beat his NEH because I don't have sure gambles in the deck. I can't go to 6 on your turn. I can only go to... Oh, no, you're right. I can go to 6 on your turn. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't even need the... I can use anything. I can use a Simul Chip. I can use a Gachapon. Like, I have lots of ways to get to 6 cards in hand. Yeah, that's a good point. So you actually have to get the full combo to kill me, and that should take you some amount of time. In the game we played very early in the day, I think this federal fundraising I'm supposed to trash at some point. Because it basically lives the entire game. This was, I'm just going to say, like, I mulligan from a hand that's a Creative Commission and a bunch of dead cards into a Creative Commission and a bunch of dead cards. Which, like, you know, that's kind of what the deck is, but... yeah, maybe I'm supposed to play this. Like, this is a matchup I had never practiced, and I think it shows pretty heavily in this game. So, but yeah. That was my game at Continentals. I think they were quite fun. I guess maybe we'll play a game or 2 of these, just to see how they feel. But okay. And yeah, apologies for not actually playing these in prep. I do kind of want to have some advantage by keeping my decks a little bit secret. Ian, you were magnificent. I'm so glad that you won the event. You 100% earned it. Mox got the cards in time. I picked up copies at Mox. I then won prizes that I used to buy more cards, so I'll pass those along. Hold the waffles. We will go to play, and hopefully... There we go. I don't know why I get it after 1 refresh, but I consistently do. So we'll see, and I'll probably, you know what? Now that I just played so well for a weekend, all my luck ran out, and we're gonna faceplant a bunch today. But all right, outfit. This is actually, amusingly, despite how popular outfit was and how much of it made into the top cut, a matchup I never played. This is a hand that's going to require us to click to draw a lot, but otherwise pretty good. Set 2 on the runs on it. There's actually a good argument that I was supposed to go urban, environmental, run archives there. But yeah, we're just, oh, I should switch over to my JNet cam. There we are. Let's gain some credits. Yeah. Opponent's moving pretty slow too. They're probably going to start fast advancing. I can't really stop them. Okay. So it's definitely worth it for us to make a run on, just to get them to res some ice here. Okay, so we can just install Clot hard here. We'll shuffle back the Simulchip, and the Gauss. We'll see an Archer, that's good to know. I think we're gonna go install, click for a credit, and Simulchip. Okay. I don't... so I can Simulchip for Clot to gain 9 credits here. I think that's alright. And now we can just make a run on R&D. We'll put a Slot Vandal here. We'll draw a card. Someone's probably going to purge again. Oh wow, they didn't purge again. Okay, interesting. They still can't fast advance, so they're going to have to purge. Gauss will get us into HQ for 3. This is where I'd really love a legwork, though. Hush is really nice against the outfit because it turns off a lot of stuff for them. Turns off their ability to res ice for positive tempo. So the problem is it's very expensive to get an HQ right now. Because we didn't draw any of our Cubons. Oh, interesting. Send a message. It's not what I'd expect out of this list. Do I just install the Simulchip here? Yeah, I just install the Simulchip because now if they install Advance, I just get to Simulchip the Clot. Okay, great. Urban Art Vernissage. Great. This is what we like to see. So the nice thing is, if this is an archer, I don't think I care. And if this is a bad pub reser, I also think I don't. Like, now I get to turn that off. If it's an archer, I gave him a free archer, but they already are playing one archer here. Okay, so losing my lily pad is going to suck here. Does it suck enough for me to give up a simul chip? Probably does. Okay, so we're going to install SMC from our hand. We're going to trash the SMC. Put a slap vandal on here. We're going to break one subroutine. And then we'll continue on our merry way. Okay, so now we get to ask the question is giving up my lily pad worth it here? I feel like the answer is probably yes. Right? I think so. Yeah, with two diesels in hands, we're doing all right. My opponent could also make a mistake and trash a different card than lily pad. Which I wouldn't mind. Yeah, no, they trashed the lily pad. Good for them. Okay. And I think we're just gonna click for a credit here. So they're going to sprint. So Hush is dead. Slap Vandal's probably dead. Two simul chips are gone. So my opponent's not in a terrible spot. We have to be pretty conservative with what we've got left. To be honest, I was not expecting a turn 1 Pharos on HQ. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is cube on archives, run archives. A second Pharos. Interesting. We'll pay a vernissage credit, and we'll break the give a tag. And we'll let Unbroken Subroutines fire. Oh, whoops. Let's see. A diesel. Oh, perfect. I think this is a weird hand. We're going to install the lily pad. We're going to ditch the diesel. And probably the buzzsaw. Is the buzzsaw right? Or is it the Q loop? It's buzzsaw, Q loop, or Cubon. I think it's Buzzsaw. I think this list is only on Valentau. Maybe it's on Magnets, in which case I'd be a little sad. But yeah, we can actually, I think, start running through the Archer for relatively cheap. Well, it's on Too Bad Pub. We don't need to do that many more runs. Ooh, okay, I'll take that. Okay, opponent goes down to 2 credits with an Atlas counter. I don't like Tranquilizer because we can't bounce it with Vernissage, because Tranquilizer is a virus. So it's not a real consideration for me. Okay, so let's just calculate what the Archer costs. It costs 2 to boost, 2 to boost, so 4, 5, 6. So I need to get 2 Cubons to make this break even. So what I'm going to do is just install a Cubon here to draw a card. Okay. Wait, do I have that this turn? I need the 2 up front to host. And I need to have the... Hold on. Okay. Conduit goes down. Yeah, I need 8 credits the first time I run, reduced, so I need 6 credits the first time I run. So I don't have it this turn. That's fine. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay, I have it next turn now, basically. If I had popped NFL, clicked for like 2 credits or something. Yeah, I don't think I have to do anything this turn. So I think this is a fine line. I think I'm gonna like go Pisha Shan on here. And then do this. So Conduit goes down for free next turn. They're going to pivot. What are they going to grab with pivot? Too big to fail. Too big to fail. They're up to 11. 3 bad pub. Another ice there. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to go Cubon here. Conduit here. And then we run R&D. Hush and daily casts. So I think actually, hold on, thinking. Okay, because if I hush this up front, and it's a bad pub, I'm probably pretty happy. But the question is then, do I have enough? Because I need 8 credits. Yeah, I do have enough because I have the NFL. Trash the Gauss. Oh shoot, I have to redo this click because I did it wrong. I always forget how this interface wants me to work. Okay. Run R&D. Yes. Okay. Click and reveal. Yes. Here. Target this. Done. Okay. Border control. And of course I just trashed the one card that deals with that. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm over MU here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, this is definitely a slot vandal. The question is just, what do I trash here? And I think I trashed the Hush. Or I could trash this Cubon. So I think that's probably I trash one of these Cubons. And it's probably going to be so I minimize my I'm supposed to do it the other way, so I think, now that I think about it, but whatever. Oh no, I'm a credit short now. Oof. Yeah, I'm supposed to do it the other way. Am I a credit short? 6. Oof. Yeah, I am. Yay. This is why you have to do math. And math is for losers. Yeah, woof. All right. I also could have clicked for a credit or something in there. But I'm not going to ask my opponent to let me take back, because I already did a pretty complex turn. And then we'll just install a Gachapon. The reason being, we know the top of our deck is a card that we don't really want to install off of Prague Gnostic Q Loop. And we need to get our last Simul chip quickly. Oh wow, all 3 of their too big to fails are how they've gotten their bad pub, which is great. It's actually great. That's kind of cool. That hushing this bad pub was a big deal for me. Okay, so the question is, how do I actually want to go and deal with this remote? I also, because I'm over MU, maybe I don't pop this Gachapon. Because I actually don't have any installables that I care about here. Oh, now I can. Cool. Okay. So we just do this to install an SMC, which draws me one of the cards that I didn't see. Then we shuffle back Simul chip. Probably a creative commission and an environmental testing. I don't think there's any programs actually left in my stack here. Okay. Oh, we have a Hush still in hand, which is great. We are kind of short on real breakers there. Great. Simul chip's good. I think, honestly, what I'm supposed to do here is not run. This is like one of the million games where I like install a conduit and then go, oh wait, I'm actually supposed to just like let my opponent try and fast advance out here. And they functionally can't. They can try and build a scoring server here, which is probably what they're supposed to be doing. We've got 2 slot vandals in the bin, and the Gauss and the Buzzsaw. So I actually can't run HQ here, so I probably do have to be trying to run R&D a little bit at some point, just so that I'm presenting some threats. But there's not a lot of immediate pressure, so we can just do this. And this SMC is literally just here for the cloth threat. You know what? I didn't need to do this, because this wasn't going to win them the game. Yeah. This is an NGO front, I think. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be nothing. Actually, I can still install this. It'll take me a couple turns to use it, but... And we will gain a credit, and then we're just going to host Ika on a Pharos. Okay. We're going to install Pisha-Shan. Install Cubon. And we're going to run R&D. Cool. And we can let Unbroken Subroutines fire here. We'll gain a click, we'll gain 2 credits. We're going to host on a piece of ice. We will match and fully break the archer. Then we'll install a Cubon here, plus 2 credits. We'll breach the server. We'll trash a spin doctor. Then we make a run on R&D. We let Unbroken Subroutines fire. Pisha-Shan returns to our hand. We approach the ice. We encounter the ice. We match and fully break Archer. We pass and we make money. And now we see 2 cards. We see a Sprint. We see an Archer. We place a Fire's counter on Conduit. So I can actually install the Pisha-Shan, make $9, and get into R&D 2 more times, which is probably good enough. Oops. There we go. So this ends up being click neutral, but +9 for, oops. +9 for a click, but I'm not going to run again this turn. I'll just click for a credit instead. Match a fully break archer. Okay. And we're gonna click Hush over to here. Okay. So opponent didn't do anything last turn. Okay, so I need to figure out how many credits it's costing me to go in. So it's opponent goes up 2, and then this, and I get this cost me 6. We decided. So it's costing me 1 credit to go into R&D, but the credit differential is closing each time. One day I'll use those triggers correctly. So I want to keep them below 17. And we know the top 2 are nothing here. So I think I can run one more time. Yeah. I wonder if I'm supposed to put the Ika somewhere else. To the top of the deck is a card I care about. Yeah, opponent can actually lock me out here because I played very, very aggressively with my simul chips in a way I probably didn't need to. So we know the top of R&D is safe. So there's no real reason to do, I think, anything here. We can just click up for credits. Yeah, it's funny. It's like my dirty laundry play on HQ kind of hurt. I have nothing I need to vernissage here. Okay. So I lose 2, they gain 2, so we go to 24. So I need to click for some credits here. Okay, I think I maybe am supposed to jack out here. I'm trying to remember. I think I can jack out because I'm effectively making credits. Because I go up to 29, they go up to 26, I go to 27. Yep. So this being a second archer would be unfortunate. Oh, that's not what I was supposed to install. Yeah, this is definitely a bit of a pilot error into this many pharaohs. Oh.
And now, broadcasting live
Never
from
mind
our
then.
Near Earth Hub studio, we bring you this NBN special report.
Let's see, we'll host this on a piece of ice. +2. Just wanted to drop in to acknowledge I know this isn't your greatest network accomplishment in the recent weeks, but you really nailed a prediction what the APAC meta would be like. I'm glad I'm not completely lost on that. And for those of you who want to hear where I made that prediction, you can go to the NSG official podcast. Yeah, so I managed to lock myself out here by trashing the Gauss, which was definitely a misplay. Yeah, so we're going to concede here, amusingly. We're going to maybe not try and throw a little bit less. Turns out deck is hard. Maybe deck is actually secretly bad, despite going 4-2 or 5-2. You ever predict what the EMA? So the process just said they're anticipating lots of Sable. I think Outfit's still going to be king of the hill. They say that Sable's really good into Outfit. I'm pretty skeptical of that claim. I think it doesn't take that much tuning of Outfit to dunk on Sable. Install a Trebuchet on the Central, and I don't know how Sable's supposed to get enough singles to make that work. But they said they tested it. I have not tested it, so you should believe them, not me. I think people will try my op. I think people will find ways to improve my op. And yeah. This is a hand I'm like tempted to keep, but I think it's a little bit tough. Because it's not, I mean, actually kind of fine. This is better. I mean, this is where this being a sure gamble would be just straight out an upgrade, right? Yeah, so Josh, I think Outfit hasn't been good before in a way that's, I don't know. Like the bin breakers going is a big upgrade for Outfit. There's no turn 1 threats I need to care about here, which is nice. Okay, great. Pivot is a big upgrade. I don't think it's busted. What are you gonna gaslight me on turn 1 here? What are we grabbing with Gaslight? Market Forces? It's an odd choice so early. Like, you could just leave... So, opponent should just leave that unattended. I think maybe they're forgetting that opposition research cares that I like trash a card or steal a card. Not 100% on that though. Okay, laundry is great here. Just laundry HQ. See the ping again. Draw. Okay. Yeah. I feel pretty good about our position now. I still feel fine about my position right now. I actually feel totally fine, I think. They're going to do a little bit of damage here, but I don't know that that is that meaningful to me. Run server 6. No action, that can stay. Gachapon. We'll make a run on R&D here. So we get to hush this, draw a card. Oh, yeah. Trebuchet on the Central is a bear. Yeah. Yeah, so this is basically, Hush is like a 1-card answer to VSA. It just breaks it for a credit, which is great. And so we're going to gain a credit off of running HQ here. We can even think about, at some point, actually doing some aggressive runs. But, like, losing these cards from hand is not a big deal for me. I might even just install the simul chip here. Because if my opponent overwrites this with the ping, I can just simul chip, put the hush back on it. And they can res the ping if they want to, but it loses a lot of its value. And yeah. That's a little unfortunate. Guess my opponent can only give me 2 tags here. And I'll be able to clear them. And we should be able to draw on their turn as well. Lose a slot vandal, that's alright. So they can overwrite the VSA with their ping, click for a credit. I guess they could go install Oppo research. Which is a line. Again, not one that scares me much. Oh, they didn't even Oppo research. Okay. So we're gonna get down probably Buzzsaw. We'll draw a card. We're gonna put back the simul chip. We're gonna put back the clot. And I think, as much as I would love, like, I think the creative commission's better here. Okay. Do I know what server 6 is? Okay, it's Vera. I thought I had run it. Okay, cool. Alright. So we're gonna click 1 draw. Do I want to trash those wage workers? I don't think so. Hey, Jamie. I was supposed to install the Eco there. Jeez Louise. Okay, hold on. We're gonna undo that click here. Okay. And let's just install our silent chip here. Okay. Getting a vernissage soon would be nice. That might actually be a reason to put down the Earthrise Hotel so that we can go check, check, check. Nope, Gaslight is fine. It's a Spin Doctor, maybe? Oh, okay. So this is an agenda. It's a bummer. Okay, so Gaslight's maybe not fine now. I don't think I need my console here. Opponent can't afford to do the full nonsense on me. Oh wow, they returned my Buzzsaw. That suggests to me that they have a VSA down. It's very interesting that that's what they would bounce. Okay. Actually no, we're gonna undo that click. Install this. So this engine, the Ika Lilypad Urban, is just a very good engine for me here. I'm not that worried about Gaslight. If they get Oppo research here, they can only give me 2 tags, unless they can sprint up to 7 from 1 card in hand and nothing on the board. Losing the Gauss is a little annoying. It's going to make breaking up ping at some point a little bit annoying. But I think we're alright. Like, with 4 agenda points, I can play pretty cautiously here, get my conduit up, and then just go for a big dig on R&D, coming out even on every dig in clicks and credits. Augustus, I think it's an option. I like Cubon more than I like the second Ika. But it's definitely something that you can think about doing. We're installing the second card, we're installing the third card, and we're playing an Oppo Research. Okay. So I'm going to remove the tags. We're going to run server 11. We're going to install an Ika. Nope, that can obviously stay. And you know what? Nothing at 1 credit is winning them the game here. So I think I'm actually happy to click for a credit. Next turn, if I still have the Earthrise, I'll install the Earthrise for free. Yep, federal fundraising is totally fine. Yeah, there's not actually a threat I have to respect and trash right now. So I'm just going to slowly build up until I'm ready to conduit on R&D. And Amani Sinai Vera can maybe get there. But from 2 credits, it's a little bit tricky. And I can definitely look at something like a turn where I go trash, trash, but I'm going to want to wait till I can get an environmental testing off. Now, I'm supposed to do this in a different order because, like, this could get hairy with Amani Sinai. But I don't think it can. So I think I actually just want credits here. I can lose the Ika from my hand and probably be okay. If they install Advance on this server, I just simul-chip out the Ika for the Clot, which is already in the bin. Oh, they're even above credits because they didn't want to res. Oh no, they couldn't res the Sansan until they gained the Platter Ward credits, so I'm fine. Yeah, so I'm going to want to get both breakers down at some point soon. So I'll card new remote. So the nice thing is I get to check these remotes while drawing cards, which is a good start. Laundry obviously is a nice one to have. I think they probably have agendas in HQ. I'm going to try and grab a laundry. This is almost as good as a laundry. Okay, great. I think we're just going to run Archives, so I don't actually want to steal an agenda here. We're going to put a Cubon down here. And then we're going to breach the server. We're going to end the turn and discard a lily pad. Rashida is actually fine. I don't particularly care about the Rashida here. So next turn, we can pop for 9 credits. Pretty easily and get the conduit down. We might even do something like simul-chip on this turn, the self SMC for the Hush. Because Hush is just generically good against all of their ice. I think actually that's probably the play. Yeah, if we were also on the Neas, we'd be blowing this out. Okay. Okay, so they go triple install. Install. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. Okay. So, pop SMC, install Hush here, draw a card. Start the turn. Take clicks. Earthrise. Vernissage. Cube onto here. Gonna run server 12. Remove a tag. Okay. We will put down a Slap Vandal on the ping. We'll draw a card. We'll make $9. We'll fully break the ping. I'm not going to bother to trash the Sandstand here, I think. There's actually just not much point to trashing it. I'll probably lose the Conduit here, which is a bit of a bummer and maybe a misplay. But with a Simulchip in hand, I'm less worried about it. I probably do care. Like, these cards are all expensive enough. I think Conduit's the right choice here. I think my play is still something like install a Cubon, run R&D. Okay, so they're really going for fast advance. So we're actually going to install the Cubon on HQ. Going to install the Pichochan on HQ. We're going to run HQ. One credit, I don't think there's any ice that they can res other than pop-up window. And we're going to run HQ again. Okay. And then last click, I'm going to install a Cubon. Actually, no. Yeah. Actually, no. We're going to install the Conduit because the way we don't win this game quickly is Bladderwort hits the Conduit out of our hand. Losing Pichochan is definitely, it's going to slow down how quickly we win. I don't think it stops us from winning, but we'll see. So. Okay, so it's probably return the Slap Vandal to hand. Apologies for zooming way out. Yeah, Aeneas Cubons is a very good way to win, and that's an argument for why it's correct in this deck. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go click Host on a Piece of Ice, install, run R&D, so, Sanjay, the Pichochan is the pronunciation guide from NSG. It may not be correct, but that's the pronunciation guide that they've given us. I think I say Pichacao sometimes by accident. Pichochan is, as far as I understand, how it's supposed to be pronounced. Which sounds a little French to me, which is a little bit weird. I don't think I care about market forces here. I don't care about end of the line. Maybe I do care about end of the line. Yeah, we don't need to super flex. We can play this slowly. Okay, yep. Second Bladderwort makes me glad. Isha Shao. Isha Shao. Isha Shao is maybe a little bit less French. But I'm not 100%. And yeah, I think in theory, Amani Vera is enough to like be annoying. And it's probably another reason against environmental testing and for something like a Neas informant. Yes, opponent is on Epiphany Analytica. Is it just bad for Epiphany to install Ice against Arasana? I think because I'm running Ika, it's not strictly bad. I don't think I mind protecting my conduit here, because I probably just win the game this turn. But we'll see. Slap Vandal is a decent trash. Got one click left. Oh no, they don't. Never mind. Oh no, they're epiphanying. I see, I see. Okay. So we're gonna go Conduit, run on R&D. Cubon. Draw a card. Pisha Shaw. So we are going to trash the Spin Doctor, even though we're going to take a tag on that, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. If we've already trashed one thing, we might as well keep trashing. I don't think there's anything in server 19 that worries me here. Okay, there we go. It does look to me more like an S than a sh. Pisha Shaw. Pisha Sao. Yeah. I mean, this is like not this part of the board state, but this part of the board state where you're conduiting through and making money or breaking even was extremely common in most of my games, which is like why I think Arasana's got some real power. Things to do to improve the deck, as I mentioned, switch these daily casts to sure gambles. Looking at something like a single one deep dive is probably correct, so that you don't just have to win off of Conduit, because sometimes Conduit is too slow. I'm not sure Buzzsaw is worth it. You can probably play Unity, though it's a little bit dicey. I could see a Turbine Rig, but like I was using up all of my MU pretty frequently, both in these games and in Swiss. So, don't know. I really like the Prognostic Q Loop. It's a little bit situational, but like I played versions with 2 Prognostic Q Loops for a while, and it was pretty regularly firing for me, which is pretty good. And then we've got, actually, I think this is just the same exact ob. I think this is exactly what I was playing. So we'll play a game with exactly what I was playing, and we can talk about changes. I mean, Tech Writer does exist for Arasana. I actually think environmental testing is basically better than Tech Writer, because it trashes when you should be trashing Technical Writer, and like, okay, it's not actually better because it costs 3 up front, but it's just a very good card for Arasana and basically does what we want Technical Writer to do. And we can install it for 0 a lot of the time. A leaning S sounds better than sh. So pisha son. Pisha son. This is a weird hand to keep. It's a very weird hand to keep. It's basically trading 2 points for 2 points. Oh, let me zoom in a little. Oh, this is a great start. This is a bit of an unusual start to go install ICE hedge fund or credit hedge fund ICE. But basically, my next turn is score a hostile. Turn after that is envelopment Rashida. Or if there's a good research that comes down, I do an early above the law. We're actually going to do this in a different order. So there's a lot of different ice I can draw, and I maybe don't want to have both envelopments on the board. And so clicking for a credit gives me a little more options. It gives me a few more options, I should say. I think it's more valuable than the credit, or than the click I gain back, because my next turn, like I have clicks to spare in my immediate plan, but I don't have credits to spare in my immediate plan. Okay, we're going for a slightly different line. Server 1, advance, install a piece of ice. We actually can res everything and score out here, which is kind of funny. This Botulus is going to eat up this Oaktown pretty quick. So I don't like having to res here, but we have to res here. This is six of our 11 agendas with 37 cards left in the deck. And it's honestly probably not a terrible draw for us, which is even the strangest thing in the world. Okay, so we're gonna go new remote, advance, score. My opponent can get away with a lot here. It's definitely going to be tricky for them to do so. They're actually through this envelopment right now. So if they're confident in what this ice is, they can go for it. If this is a border control, it's pretty expensive for them to go into the server. Freedom cannot spend Sandstone Virus tokens. There was a rules update that basically says if you're paying a cost, you must pay it with tokens that you control. And so Sandstones are not tokens that you control. So they can discard 2 cards from hand and then go all the way in here. Not much I can do about this, but so it goes. Discarding a Steel Skin's very good for them. Yeah, I mean, this is a draw. They have to break every subroutine on this ice. If they don't break every subroutine on this ice, I get to score out. And it's actually true. Like, the funny thing is, I just get to install Advance the Oaktown again next turn. Because Botchos will only be able to break one of the two subroutines. I also can do stuff where I shoot the Paladin here, but actually we have just a nicer play of Extract. We'll go and get a border control on server 1. Then we just install this Oaktown and we advance this Oaktown. Okay. I think... So, let's see. This gets us to 3. This gets us to 4, or to 5. And so we actually have all 7 points that we need to win in our hand already. Which is not bad. Ooh, yeah, we'll purge a virus. I like getting that virus down. Wowee, that's a little bit of flood. Border control is quite good against Audrey. Wow. If they get 2 points here, I will be mad. Okay, they did not get 2 points. They go to 0 credits. I'm going to just actually put the... I mean, R&D is safe for a couple turns, so I don't need to put down the border control just yet. R&D is safe, so that's fine. I can probably border control archives here. So they're going to discard Steel Skin, probably discard one other card, and then get into HQ for a single card. A single virus token, probably trash the Audacity or steal an agenda. We'll see. Okay, there goes the Audacity. They can go back in. It's not the worst thing for them to do. I probably do need to put the border control on HQ here. Yeah, Audrey's looking pretty good here. Like, very much so. Now I can't really slash and burn until it's the final point. But this is reasonably safe. I guess I need to remember my opponent needs to have actual credits to go in for a Bassi. Or Abasu, excuse me. It's a very weird phoneticization if this is actually pronounced Abasu, but... So draw 2 cards, gain 3 credits is kind of cool here. They really get Hippo, though. Goodbye, Managarm. This is also a game where we haven't found Tucana. So the nice thing I can do here is let them run through the envelopment. Oh, they have to boost. Yeah, they do. They have to really spend into this border control. So I think we will stall a 4-coster. I just install a second border control on HQ. probably I install a... Just gonna install a Stavka on HQ. And we're not gonna trash down the card. And I'm okay with giving up 2 points here. So I'm pretty sure that R&D is safe. Okay, so now we just go advance, advance, advance. We score. I don't think it matters too much. So how much does it cost them to break? If they steal 2 here, they steal 2 here, right? So I think this is install advance, put down the second sandstone. And we'll have border control for a magnet, which should probably be enough because they can only get to 3 Audrey counters. Other option is sandstone on R&D, so that server also is kind of locked, but it's not super locked either way. Would have been wonderful to find a magnet at some point in this game, but ooh, okay. So we're gonna go yeah, I think it's border control R&D, install in server 1, advance. Costs Audrey all of its counters to go through here. And I can pop border control from a virus, so it's very, very safe. Okay, great. Let's see. So getting a sandstone would be great here. And we'll just put a... Carnivore is +1 MU. But I do think Carnivore Loo is definitely an option. Yep, so now I just have to hope the top card of HQ is not, of R&D is not an agenda. So we've seen 7, so there's only 4 agendas left. So it's like a 1 in 6 to lose the game here. Cool. GG. Yeah, so that's like, those are the games that you kind of lose, where it's just all agendas on the top of your deck, and you don't find viruses to tutor your Tucanas. But you can think about, like, there's a lot of draws there where instead of drawing 7 agendas, we draw any of our other tools. We get to slow down the runner a lot. We get to do stuff like Purge with a virus, get a Tucana, start tutoring ice out of our deck, and it feels pretty good. We'll do another rep of that. I think it's that was a bit of a weird one. That felt not slow for once in Freedom. Yeah, that was a Freedom engine that got live really fast. Oh, this should be a fun one. Okay. So we get to do my favorite turn 1 here. Magnet, Oaktown, Advance. Now, this doesn't beat every single Arasana hand, but this beats a lot of Arasana hands. And it looks like my opponent's not even going to try and keep me honest here, which I don't mind. Advance, 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 score. And we're just going to start making the big ol' U. Just don't give up a point here, please. Bleh. That's all I need, basically, is that to not be a point. Okay, we're in business here, though. R&D, server 1, server 1. Double SMC, okay. We'll res a sandstone here. What are we getting here? This is Fermenter, so I'm guessing also going to be Cleaver. Oh, Slap Vandal makes more sense, yep. Okay. So now I get to do something fun, where I get to go install, advance, ask for action. Okay. I'm going to do this anyway, which is advance, purge virus counters, because this clears off the fermenter. We're then going to install Tucana in server 1. Then we're going to score this hostile takeover. I'm going to trash the sandstone. And then we're going to go and install... I think we're going to go and install a Whoredom on R&D for a credit. And we've just gotten to purge away our opponent's Fermenter. We've gotten to get rid of their Arasana trigger with the Urban Art Vernissage. And we've put one of the more annoying ice for a lot of their breakers to deal with. And they'll probably get a trigger here. Ika is a great one, as we've talked about already. I think it's probably what you should be running. This remote is already pretty annoying for them. Okay, we're looking to rush. So I think we do something like this in server 1, this in the new remote. I miscounted by credits. I should have clicked for a credit here. 100% should have clicked for a credit here. Actually makes it so they can't get in. But if they're using their Arasana trigger, I'm probably okay here. Because I can just go and get the magnet. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to go advance, 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 score. We can trash the Whoredom. We're going to install a Mavirus in server 1. And then let's go put... We're going to go put a Sandstone on R&D, I think. Oh, and we hit a Pisha Saw. Pisha Sao? Pisha Sao, probably. Okay, Pisha Sao. Opponent actually does need to go after this Mavirus or they lose the game, but I get to go, when they go after the Mavirus, I can res the magnet, make them spend, then pop it, turn it into a Manic Arm, then shuffle back the Maviruses, which feels good. Are they getting conduit already? I think this is a mistake because I'm showing a virus here. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Rashida in server 1. We're going to extract this Slap Vandal to install a Managarm on R&D. And then we can put an Envelopment on R&D. And then I'm going to say action at start of your turn. We could definitely extract the Tucana, but getting rid of their Slap Vandal is also okay. And we're just gonna put... Actually, here's the funny thing we can do. Is put the Tucana on R&D. But I think just putting a Regolith Mining License out in the new remote is totally fine here. It does mean we don't get to Fast Advance, but opponent also now doesn't have a lot of credits. They have a single SMC to get through 2 different types of ice. We're gonna fire a Rashida, so like the goal is just to find breakers here. And like here, I'm okay giving up the Rashida and the Tucana. They're gonna go... Oh, okay, they're gonna let me fire. Okay. And if I get a Stavka, I'm very happy. Okay, I didn't get a Stavka. So I think I go install on server 1. Then I go advance. And now opponent has to get a Clot. And now they don't have access to their breakers, right? So I can just put a white space on server 1. This costs me 5 all day, and I need 0 credits to win the game. And so the important thing I'm going to need to do here is because both of my sandstones are face down, I have to shuffle my Spin Doctor before I can pop the border control here. And I do not care at all if my opponent does this for their whole turn. Because they're not gaining clicks here. Oh. Well, but I don't need to even risk them getting any points here. Yeah. Tucana is not remote server. Oh, it is remote server only. That is a change I forgot about. GG. But yeah, so it's like, you don't need to make sure that every push is safe. You need to make sure that every push is expensive for the runner. And you need to draw decently. But you have a lot of draw filtering. The games where you find Tucana is really good. I think that's an argument for trying to find a space for a third. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do one more, and then I am going to call it a night. Oh, that's cool. Which deck? The Arasana deck or the Op deck? I'm guessing because you said it felt amazing that you mean the Op deck. I think the Op deck just feels great. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, my Arasana deck. That felt great. I love to hear that. I hope you did change the Oh, okay. We're gonna see how this one goes. Someone's a little smurfy today. This is an awkward hand to start with, so we're gonna take a mulligan. This is a worse hand, but that's alright. Okay, so with this style of hand, what I want to do... Stavka on a central is actually quite good. I was historically thinking of it as a remote card, but just like, you just want it on the board so that you can blow things up. This is a... Okay. This is a big host deck, so we're 49, 57 cards, it looks like. I think I'm actually going to pop op here so that I get cards that my opponent doesn't know. Yes, I did hope that you changed the daily cast into Sure Gambles. Good. I'm assuming that made the deck feel much better. Okay, so we have to play a little bit slow here. Okay, this is Diversion of Funds, Big Hoshiko. We're getting memed on a little here. We'll have to see how this goes. Pop the Gachapon, install Paladin. We're going to shuffle back Cleaver, Diversion, and the price to remove Dirty Laundry, Dirty Laundry. We're going to Moshing. Hippo, Steelskin, Labor Rights to draw a lot of extra cards. Going to install a Keiko. Install and install. So I would love to draw a better agenda here to the point where... Hey, Minstrel, thank you. Okay, so I really wanted to draw a better agenda. And like, if you imagine this is an off-world office, Chef's Kiss, my turn is install off-world office, advance it, install Vovo Azeti. Yeah, that was... So the reason I was on Daily Cast instead of Sure Gambles is because I found that the deck often does float Vernissage credits. But I think the practical reality is you just have to let that be. And just sometimes you just don't trigger Vernissage because your stuff is already in the right place. Bankar is definitely annoying for us. I actually think Vovo helps with it a little bit. Okay, so questions I could ask myself is this, do I need to score right now? I think it might be something like install, advance, take a credit. This just makes the server much more resilient. And this is a board state where I think about doing pop border control to grab him a virus. No need to res the Stavka here. I go down to 5. My big Hosh opponent drew their diversions. Nothing in HQ, so nothing really to worry about here. Extract also lets us bounce back really well. Advance, score. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to extract the Spin Doctor. Go back up to 9. And a Price, an Adore, an Amakua, a Stargate, and a Mystic. I'm guessing the Stargate's coming down. Oh, it's the Adore instead. Okay, Sentry, so 3 virtuals, right? Got 1, 2. DJ Steve. +3, +3, +3. So this is going to cost us 11 the first time they have to actually break it. If they don't steal the Oaktown, I'm very happy. Great. I think that probably is enough for us to win the game. Ika feels so good against Stavka and Hafrun. I'm not sure it's actually that good against Stavka Hafrun, but it's okay. So I should do the math. This is 7 credits. Oh no, it's not. It's less than 7 credits. It's 3 credits, 4 credits, 5, 6 credits. Okay. So yeah, this is what our remote's gonna look like. Sometimes you don't always want the Manigarm there. You often do want the Manigarm on R&D. And our ghostly opponent here definitely has ways to get into this remote. It's not going to be cheap for them. They're leaving Bankar on HQ. They're just going to try and recur some value off of DJ Steve. They're getting a leech going. We also will eventually have a line of just putting a cheap ice and then getting a Stavka down. I really liked Q-Loop and environmental testing to burst credits. I wish I could fit one more econ in, but I'm not sure cutting an Earthrise would hurt the card draw too much. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, like, slots are so tight in that list. Paladin has a little bit of a real downside now that the bin breakers are gone. There's also a world where I feel like this remote is still safe, so I do something like install an ice on HQ, and I just click for more credits. Because this remote is still getting res for 4 credits total. Requires cleaver and quite a bit of boosting. I feel like my opponent probably could be installing cleaver here and being okay. But we'll see. Envelopment also is pretty good into a Bankar hit here. Okay, here comes down the cleaver. Opponent's at 30 credits. They're gonna eat quite a chunk of credits here. And this is actually why I think the one-up Hordem is probably right, is because if he doesn't, if our ghost friend, who I realize I don't have pronouns for, doesn't fully break and they let the trash, I can just get the Hordem. Losing to Khan is a bummer. And they can't really Bankar through an envelopment. It's just too tempo negative. Okay, so I really wish I had a Tucana here. We're going to advance. I think I'm going to advance because this is the most efficient way for me to click for a credit. Then we're going to score. And then we're going to put this on R&D. And then we're going to just have our good friend Vovo move over to R&D. Actually, I should move them to HQ here, probably, to try and get my opponent to run into HQ. But that's fine. So here comes the Buzzsaw. We res the Border Patrol. So my opponent has a line here, and this is a thing that I did not know until after the event. Let's say my opponent decides to not break the Trash This Ice subroutine. I have the option of let's see, what do I want to do here? Got Afshar, Magnet, Virus, and Sandstone. I think Sandstone's the one I want on R&D here. I can pop the border control. Oh, this is last click. Oh, this is really nice. Okay, so what I get to do here is I get to res this Stavka. We're going to trash the Vovo. Oh, except I already used it. Oops. Oh well. Cost my opponent 11 credits. I don't mind. Alright, hopefully they don't trash the Regolith here. But we'll see. Okay, so I think it's credit, install Regolith in server 1, and then we move Vovo Azeti into server 1, and we can res literally every card in this server from while we're at 3 credits, which I think is like actually pretty impactful. Resing a Managarm for 0 is just rude, just straight up rude. My opponent also still has to spend 3 credits. They now have their virtual... Oh no, they lost their Mamie because they couldn't... I don't know. So I get to res the Border Control for 2 credits. I get to res the Sandstone for 1 credit. Then I get to res the Managarm for 0 credits. Actually, we're going to do this in a different order. Whoops. Let's just go and get a magnet to put on server 1. It's technically not the way you want to do this, but this is alright. So this costs them not that much. It'll cost them a lot to go in here. They'll trash the Regolith mining license. Or they should. This is where scoring a hostile would be great. This is again where missing the Tucana feels pretty bad. Alright. Gachapon Cleaver going. We're going to labor rights back. Probably for diversions, if I had to make a guess. Ice Carver, Trickster Taka, and Sure Gamble. Res the Regolith. And go from 0 to 9 in a single turn. I don't think we need to move Vovo here. I don't think we're getting any more value out of Vovo this game. The last border control is probably going to be important for us here. We're only on 4, so this is actually going to be a little bit tricky. But the envelopment probably taxes out the runner here. A Tithe also becomes quite good. We probably put it on archives so that they can't build up leech counters. Oh, do I not have any viruses? Wow, not drawing them a virus yet. It's unfortunate, right? Because there's 3 viruses, 2 Tucanas. They've trashed 1 Tucana here. So now it costs them 3 to go through. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I have nothing in hand. That's why I don't mind the Stavka here. If I can find another Stavka, though, I'm actually quite happy. So this is going to be 2 Spin Doctors down. So we're going to put the last Spin Doctor down this turn. He says as he finds a better line. Because if I just score this, I now have game point. Let's see. So opponent's still got some gas, but they are going to run out eventually. Going for a very big rig. Okay, so they don't want me triggering envelopment. That's probably correct, but Oaktown, Hedge Fund, and Tithe. If I lose the Spin Doctor here, I'm pretty sad. And it's going to be a difficult game for me. But I'd still only need an Audacity to win, basically. And a border control buys me several turns here. Not too worried about diversion of funds. I'm on 14. We're going to res a Spin Doctor. I think we'll put the Tithe on Archives here. And we can put the border control on R&D. And move over to R&D. I might even extract the Mana Garm. Oh, this is from Trip Mirror's albums. I forget. I can go and check which one this is. This is what? This is Special Report on Always Be Running 2. So. Yeah, here comes a diversion. I don't think I care. I have all the credits I need. And Anarchist's gonna have a hard time locking me out here. And I can still make a relatively scary remote with another Envelopment Mana Garm. And let's see. We'll get rid of a Sure Gamble, I think. So all three border controls are out, so I do actually kind of need to get some other stuff going. Probably do just want to pop the border control here after they spend everything. They should definitely be leeching that down. All right. So should probably spend 2 leeches here. Oh no, they don't even need to. We'll just end the run here. Yep. We'll put a Afshar on HQ, I think. Okay. So that's the agenda we need to win the game. It's a little bit tricky to force it out here. So let's go draw. Okay. I think we're just going to use half run on R&D to stop another Stargate. So we'll just draw again. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think half run on R&D is fine. I'm kind of tunneling on the fast advance line because I don't have a super good way of denying my opponent the opportunity to Just hoping I can keep the Atlas in hand. You can have the diversion back. Losing the Spin Doctor sucks. That's all the Spin Doctor's gone. But that's just how it goes sometimes, I guess. Next turn might just be Purge. I think next turn is probably just Purge. Yeah, so I have no border controls, so my tricks are actually a little bit run out. But my opponent's econ is slowly depleting as well. I don't mind purging here. Makes their board much more... It makes it much more expensive for them to run anywhere now. Let's see. Let's see. They're also only on one agenda point, so I can do something like install the envelopment. Like, if I can find a Stavka, I'm pretty happy, but I can do something like I trash and Trafron's Like, this is 1 credit. This is probably going to be 2 credits or 3 credits. This goes down to 4. So this is 3 credits the first time to break it, 1 the rest of the time. This is 3 credits to break, or they just let me fire the envelopment because they figure out that all 3 border controls are face up and all my spin doctors are gone. I do get a hoard them then, but that only costs them 1 credit. I don't mind that getting the Tithe Res here. It costs them more than it costs me. Oh, it's strength 0. Shoot. Oh well. So they're going to Stargate here, and they're going to hit the Audacity, and I can't win that way. So I need to come up with a different plan to win. Oh, wait. I guess it's extract the Tithe to put Rashida in on the server 1. Make them go after server 1. And then I also use that opportunity to draw some cards so I can break lock. There is an Ice Carver up here behind my radiator. Yes. Mavirus, Tucana. Don't mind that. Oh, cool. This Mavirus actually lets me kind of purge out and make life tricky for them. So they have they still have 3 virtuals down. Okay, so I'm going to go Regolith, install Rashida in server 1. Then I'm going to draw a card for my last click, because I'm trying to break R&D lock here so I can go for some pushes. Opponent can get into this for actually a good chunk of cash. And now all I need to do is draw my Audacity. This is why having 2 Audacities in the list would be better. So I think probably the cuts are you change a Slash and Burn into a Off-World Office. You cut a piece of ice. I I'm guessing probably an envelopment for a final audacity. And then you can look at upgrading some influence spends around the board. Ooh, sorry about that. Let's see, which do I care more about? Probably pinhole threading. I think all of my outermost ice are bad here. This one they can't break. This one, these both cost them 1 credit. So if they want to go hippo, run the remote, that's power to them. Letting me fire... Oh, no, they're not going to let me fire the Rashida here. Okay, that makes more sense. So actually, I want to install this Mavirus so that I can purge at some point. You have to actually go and trash this Rashida here. Oh, that's a huge mistake. Oh, that's a huge, huge mistake. Because now I can shuffle my deck so I can draw the Audacity. Okay. Just thinking here. I think all my 4 costs are gone except... Like, also drawing a Stavka here at any point would be nice. Yeah, this definitely needs a second Audacity. So the question is, what do I do to make the most reasonable line here? Okay. Yeah, losing both Spin Doctors was pretty bad. Like, I lost 3 Spin Doctors off of singles, which happens. And does give me a lot of outs. Definitely going up to 2 Audacities I think would be very good here for closing out against Anarch. It's less good against Shaper, obviously, which I think should be something that people are playing in the meta. My goal with this is that they can't Stargate probably and get all of these different cards. But maybe they can. Yeah, I mean, this is yet another game where it's like, oh, we didn't find our Tucana or our Maviruses to tutor the Tucana, I think. We still don't see the Audacity anywhere. So it goes. Yeah, they have a very good odds of just winning here. 3 and 5. It's pretty good. We're alive. We're very alive here. A bunch of people were asking me about Forma carrying this list, and I think, like, hopefully it's kind of clear. Like, Forma carry is, we want our ice to generally be threatening on the board on its own. Half run is maybe the one exception, and Forma carry doesn't do that, and it just would be super awkward to install in all of these board states, right? That's basically the theory. There's maybe an argument that I'm supposed to purge there, so that my opponent has to... Okay. Come on, draw the audacity. Holy shite. Oh my goodness, what the heck? Let's see. Okay. So, Audacity is in the last 3 cards in our deck. Let's see. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's one agenda also in R&D, so my opponent is guaranteed to win. But that's okay. So I'm supposed to install the envelopment here, I guess. Right? And I'm only 1 in 3 to win next turn as well, which is even funnier. So I guess my turn was supposed to be extract, install envelopment. Or no, this is Stavka. Okay, so if my opponent runs HQ, I actually have a fighting chance here. I forgot this was a Stavka. Okay. Maybe I'm just supposed to... Yeah, I'm just supposed to install the Stavka on R&D. That's 100% what I'm supposed to do here. And just gamble on the 4 out of 5 so that they don't run HQ. Ugh. I guess is it Stavka overwriting the envelopment, and trash a card? Yeah, they've got it. Because it costs them nothing to get through here. Yeah. It's supposed to be the Stavka here. Because they actually can't break it easily. I guess it's 6, so it would cost them 3. They'd be just about credit perfect. Oh. So I have 1 slash and burn. And I just had to have to score it first. Yeah, this is just like yeah, I think it's like going to 2 Audacities just makes the decks more consistent. The question is, do you cut the slash and burn for an off-world office, or do you cut a piece of ice and just play 1 slash and burn, 2 Audacities? Because yeah, if I have the slash and burn and 2 Audacities, I'm pretty much guaranteed to win at this point. If I install a Spin Doctor instead of being greedy, I also win this game, I think. So like there's also play error lines that I would look at. And the slash and burn has generally felt bad. It was the first gen I scored this game. The Jacana didn't work, which is a bit of a bummer. Actually, I'm wondering if I got a Tucana at all in this game. Trying to remember if I got a Tucana. No Tucana here. No Tucana here. And then... Was this the... No, okay. This is fine. Still okay here. I get lucky. And I probably am supposed to put a Whoredom on R&D here, even though it only costs him 1. Oh, and then like, yeah, okay, so I just get unlucky because I lose the Spin Doctor on a 1 and 4 here. Whereas if I don't mind losing the points. Like if I have the Spin Doctor here, I pretty much just win the game, I think. Can I push at this point? Can I just go Atlas, Envelopment, and trash the Stavka for a Mavirus? Start of his turn, pop Mavirus, do Tucana in the remote at the start of the run. Everything goes down. Cleaver takes 1, 2, 3... 4 and trashes 5, 6, 7, 8. Click, click. He's in, credit perfect. I then get to Atlas Tutor. It's probably still alright for me. It's probably slightly more active and gives him a chance to fuck up. The Tithe I thought would do something and it doesn't. And yeah, it's not worth agonizing over the specific game. I think though, if you're going to look at this list, I would probably look at, we're at 17 ice, maybe you can go down to 16, maybe slash and burn is still fine. The reason I'm a little bit hesitant to cut this ice, right? Border control, you want 2 sandstones to go into, you want 2 magnets to go into, the Afshar feels terrible, so you could definitely cut it. 2 Stavka feels like the minimum you want to get away with. I like having an ice that we can get at 2 costs. I don't think Owl is worth it. So white space is our basically remaining option. 3 envelopments generally feels good, but you could maybe go down to 2. And then you go up to 2 Audacity, 3 Extract, 3 Hedge Fund, 1 Manigarm, 3 Mavirus, 2 Tucana, and a Vovo. That's probably the way I would run this deck back. And just feel pretty reasonable about it. But yeah, anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you were here at the start of the show, thanks for letting me ramble about the event. Cascadia was a blast. Huge thank you to Eric. Huge thanks to Ian. Huge thanks to CTZ. Shoutouts to everyone else in the Top Cut who I haven't mentioned. I don't know you as well, but every single game in the Top Cut was tense. Every single game in the Top Cut was fun and very friendly. Cascadia was a blast. I think, to me, it's what live events should aspire to be. I hope everyone there had fun. I hope people are able to make it out to more live events. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week, and have fun if you're participating in EMEAC. I'll be judging the latter half of the event, so I'll see you around. Have a good night, everyone.